11 a.m. and Belly at the Bar, all part of a day's work for country singer Walker Hayes and his fellow musicians. They wrote and they drank until the day Walker lost his record deal, made an unlikely friendship, and started a journey that would transform this hardcore atheist into a true believer.
He put the fancy in country music.
Yeah, we fancy like Applebee's on a day.
Walker Hayes' viral TikTok video amassed nearly 40 million views and nearly 100 million on YouTube. Though stardom may have happened overnight, Walker's success took time. After playing his first gig in their hometown of Mobile, Alabama in 2004, Walker and his wife Lainey decided to go all in for a career in country music.
I just said, well, you know, what do you think about moving to Nashville?
I was dead set that he was going to make it, and I would be shocked if he didn't.
In 2010, he charted his first song, Pants. As his career ramped up, so did his drinking.
When did you notice that your drinking was actually a problem?
I had my first beer when I was 13, and I remember being a different person because of that in my hand. As a songwriter, it was no one looked at me like, hey, it's 11 in the morning. You sure you want to go to that bar, you know, right now and crack? I mean, that's what we did.
One cold Saturday in January 2014, Lainey met Laura Cooper, who invited Lainey and their family to a Saturday night church service where her husband Craig was the pastor. Walker had had a few drinks, but he agreed to go.
He walked in the doors, and Walker says the first thing I said to him was, "Glad you're here." I was just grateful that they showed up.
Over the next few years, Pastor Craig Cooper and Walker became close friends, though Walker still wanted nothing to do with religion.
You considered yourself an atheist.
Yeah.
What did you specifically have against Christianity?
My dad was a former music minister before he was a real estate agent. You know, I saw a lot of hurt in that church.
In 2015, Walker lost his record deal and had their family van repossessed by the label. Discouraged about his career and with 5 kids at the time, Walker began working an overnight shift at Costco. That's when Craig decided to give their family van to Walker.
Their unconditional love, it was so different from what we were used to.
In 2016, Walker signed a new contract with Monument Records. The next year, he wrote and recorded a song called Craig.
But Craig, I get it. So now he can't walk on water.
Craig had been dealing with his own discouragement in ministry. The song affected him deeply.
It's one of the greatest expressions of kindness that I have ever received. And it hit right at the heart of what's most important to me, and that's my relationship with Jesus. And I felt God himself like singing over me through my unbelieving friend. Wow.
One day, Walker surprised Craig with a thought.
Walker said, "I will believe there's a God if I could stop drinking." So he just started praying that God would take the desire for alcohol away from him. And boy, he did.
When he quit on that Saturday, it wasn't with the intent of I'm done drinking. It just was one day he wasn't drinking, and then the next day he didn't, and then the next day, and it's miraculous that he stopped that way.
In 2018, tragedy struck the Hayes family as their daughter Oakley died shortly after birth.
I found myself screaming at a God that I didn't believe was there. I would stand out in my driveway and just yell at someone. That was a confusing point, you know, in my life.
I had prayed previously, Lord, to do whatever you need to do to draw him to you. And so I had this, I'm like, oh, Lord, is that what you had to do? And that was hard.
Oakley's death caused Walker to desire a change.
That had a lot to do with my despair, you know, my desire for a cure for myself, you know, from the disease of me.
Walker told Laney he craved transformation and rest.
I went and got a Bible and just started reading and reading and reading.
The kids and I would come downstairs in the mornings. He was usually the first one up, and he'd be sitting at the end of the kitchen counter reading the Bible, and it was amazing to watch. The transformation and just the power of the Holy Spirit through him in that season was incredible.
Walker had given his life to Christ and couldn't wait to share the news with Craig.
I said, I believe.
And I said, you believe? What do you believe?
I believe it all.
It's like, are you telling me that you believe that Jesus is the Son of God and that you want to live your life for him? And he said, that's exactly what I'm saying. I was like,
Together, Walker and Craig have written a New York Times best-selling book, Glad You're Here, about an unlikely friendship and the love of God. Currently, Walker is headlining a tour. He hopes his life proclaims one simple message.
I'm sure if you look on my Instagram right now, there's a lot of people that say things like, oh, I want a family like that. And that's not what I want to say. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that look at my life and say, oh, if I just keep on going, my dream will come true. And that's not what I want to say either. I wish my life said all I ever want is just Jesus. That's it.
You know, I think most of us say the things that Walker first of all said. If I could just have this, if I could just be successful at that, if I just had this kind of money or a house here or a job like this. I mean, I think over the time of growing up, we all have that kind of wish list that we think would make us happy. But the truth of the matter is, and Walker's a perfect example of it, you can get that. You can get those things and find yourself completely depleted and empty at the top of a mountain that has nothing but a peak, the top of the mountain. No great utopia, no great promise of happiness, because we were created to have a relationship with our Creator.